Internet. It's your boy Shin Fitz back at you with another podcast, and I wanted to do this with another person, typically with another person every time, or have a recurring guest host, but today it's just me. And another thing that is somewhat different is the title. So originally I named it My Friend's House, but that was kind of lame. That was kind of lame. So instead, what we're doing is we're calling it the Fighters and Friends podcast. And if you know, you know. If you know where I'm taking this inspiration, where I'm taking the inspiration for this name, I should say, from, then you know. So we're going to go ahead and call it the Fighters and Friends podcast. Now, today on the podcast, what we're going to be talking about, something that I discussed on a live not too long ago, and it is powered up Mortal Kombat characters. Characters that we've seen essentially go Super Saiyan. And there's been quite a few in Mortal Kombat history. I have 10 here that I kind of want to discuss that I find interesting, but there are a couple others that I guess we can do some honorable mentions as well. But just to kind of jump into this list here, powered up Mortal Kombat characters. The first one is Raiden with Shinnok's amulet. Raiden by himself is a beast, but when he had Shinnok's amulet, he was able to completely take on number one, he went to the Netherrealm, where apparently he's weaker there. And even though he's weaker there, him with the amulet was able to take on an entire army of nightmare creatures by himself. He wasn't even, it felt like after the fight, he wasn't even tired. He wasn't even hurt. He was just able to fight for minutes by himself against an army and come out completely unscathed. That's the level of power we're dealing with here when he has Shinnok's amulet. Also, of course, he has the abilities that Shinnok's amulet grants anyone who wields it, where he's able to shoot lasers from it, as well as trap people within the amulet itself. And we never actually see what it's like in the amulet. Is it like a Pokeball where where it's bigger on the inside? Or, I mean, the way Shinnok puts it, or the way Shinnok says he's been confined and almost tortured within the amulet, it can't be nice. So he can essentially damn you to a torturous existence within the amulet. So it's essentially a one-hit kill if he's able to hit you with that power of the amulet. So Raiden with Shinnok's amulet, absolute beast level of a character. The next powered up character is Shang Tsung with Kronika's crown. And I mean, does much have to be said about this? This guy was absolute terror. He was able to beat down the gods of Earth. So Raiden and Fujin by himself, he was able to just best them in combat. He was able to beat Shao Kahn and Sindel when they were on the roll of a lifetime in Aftermath. I don't think they took a single L in Aftermath until they went up against Shang Tsung. So, I mean, Shang Tsung with Kronika's crown was just an absolute beast. He was able to defeat Kronika herself and essentially steal her soul and become a Titan. And as we find out in MK1, both of the endings in MK11 are canon. So this version of Shang Tsung was able to finally defeat Liu Kang. Not only just Liu Kang, but Fire God Liu Kang. So, I mean, Shang Tsung with Kronika's crown was an absolute, like I said, an absolute terror. This man was a problem. You could not mess with Shang Tsung with Kronika's crown. The next person that I have here is probably someone that most wouldn't really consider all that powerful, but it is a power up, so they're on the list nonetheless. And that person is none other than Havoc as a Titan. Titan Havoc himself. It feels like you don't really, what's the word I'm looking for here? It seems like the power up that he gets is nothing that grandiose. I feel like he just has enhanced reactions, strength, and endurance, because this guy takes on Liu Kang. He takes on Fire God Liu Kang, Raiden, and Kung Lao by himself, and pretty much gets the best of them. Also, it feels like he's nearly invincible. Like, you can't really hurt him, because once he's damaged, it can either instantly heal or create a doppelganger of himself. But I have a theory that, now I do have to rewatch Chaos Reign, so take this with a grain of salt. But I have a theory that whenever he's able to either create a doppelganger or completely heal from a wound, that's only from a self-inflicted wound. I don't think there was any scene where someone harmed him or someone ripped off an arm and then he was able to heal from it. Which is why I think Noob Saibot was able to finally beat him at the end, because he was the one that did the damage, not Havoc himself. Now, I may be wrong. Maybe someone in the comments will correct me on this, but go back and watch Chaos Reigns and see if I have anything there, if there's some validity to this, because I believe that Havoc can only heal, or not that he can only heal, but as far as we have seen, he was only able to heal when he damaged himself, because, chaos. But this guy was a beast too. He was able to collect the Kamidogu. He conquered, it looked like multiple different timelines, and he was just a tank as far as combat goes. So Titan Havoc, and he's clearly a powered up version of regular Havoc from MK1, so this is a power up. And of course, being a Titan, he has access to an hourglass, and he can restart history, change history, all of that stuff. So Titan Havoc, definitely a powered up character from Mortal Kombat. Now, the next character, another character that I don't think a lot of people really put a lot of weight behind, but again, this is technically a powered up character, so we are going to include this person, and this person is none other than Corrupted Shinnok. Now, this guy, it feels like he has, his whole skin is armor. When Cassie Cage initially tries to fight him and punches him in the face, it looks like he doesn't even feel it. So clearly he has physical resistance to attacks. And of course, clearly he has the amulet. He has the Shinnok's amulet in his torso. So I'm guessing he can use the powers of the amulet as well, which means he can trap people within the amulet. He has this cheap blast. The cheap blast that Corrupted Shinnok could use, also from the amulet. But I think the thing that makes him most dangerous is his ability to essentially corrupt a realm. Once he became Corrupted Shinnok, he was able to just I don't want to use corrupted so many times, but he was able to poison the Jinsei of Earth and immediately start to terraform Earthrealm. And I mean, just his presence corrupts an entire realm. I mean, he's essentially a global threat. If you don't deal with Corrupted Shinnok right away, your entire realm is donezo. And I don't even know what that means. If he is able to fully corrupt Earthrealm, does everyone become undead? Kind of like the Revenants, and he now has dominion over everyone? I don't know. We weren't we weren't able to see what happens when Shinnok completes his corruption of a realm, but I can assume it's not good. And he does that just with his presence. So a lot of people don't put a lot of stock in corrupted Shinnok, but this guy must be dealt with right away, and therefore I think he earns a place on the list of powered up Mortal Kombat characters. Now, this next character, people hold even less stock in. Even less stock in this next character, but again, this is a powered up version of a character, so I am going to include them on the list. This person is none other Dark Khan from Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe, a game a lot of people don't like, a main boss a lot of people don't like, and I can see why. This is a extremely uninspired design for a character. He looks like a rock version of Blaze, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how else to describe him. He's just Rock Man with glowing eyes and a mouth. He's not very imaginative. Whoever created him was not very imaginative. But you cannot deny what Dark Khan can do. Number one, this is Shao Kahn merged with Darkseid. Now, I would have to assume that Dark Khan, at least in combat, is physically more powerful than Shao Kahn or Darkseid on their own, right? It's both of them combined. So he's got to be more powerful than either one of them would be by themselves. That's number one. And that alone is a feat. Because Shao Kahn is a terror and Darkseid is a boss. So the fact that Dark Khan must be stronger than both of them, that by itself is a feat. But what I think really makes Dark Khan powerful is his influence. The fact that he can make you do things that you don't want to do. He can infect you with what's called the rage, which is kind of like a cosmic virus in a sense, and force you to fight, even fight people that you don't want to harm. It could be friends or family or anything like that. He essentially turns you into, now that I'm thinking about it, he essentially turns you into a zombie. Because what are zombies really? Zombies are people who eat other people. They're completely consumed by one emotion, and that emotion typically is hunger, right? They're consumed with that emotion to the point. Wait, is hunger an emotion? I don't even know, but you know what I'm saying. You're consumed with this feeling, whether hunger is considered an emotion or not, I don't know, but you're consumed with hunger to the point where you will eat anyone. You'll eat someone that you once knew or loved, and it doesn't matter. You will attack and eat that person as a zombie. Now, what does Dark Khan do to you? Dark Khan makes it so that you are consumed with anger, with rage, so much so to the point that you have to murder something, essentially. And you will murder anybody, whether they're friend or foe, whether it's someone you don't care about or someone you love. Dark Khan will make you fight that person. And just having that kind of influence, and it looks like he has no limit to what he can do, because he did it to like all the MK characters and all the DC characters that were in front of him. So it's not like he has to touch you and now you have the rage or he has to shoot a beam at you or anything. No, just being in his presence, or just him being in the realm. Because there were many times that the characters contracted the rage and Dark Khan was not in the vicinity. So him just being around turns you into his puppet, essentially. So Dark Khan absolutely deserves a place on the powered up Mortal Kombat list. Okay, this next character needs no introduction. This next powered up character is insane, and a lot of people, it's unfair for me to say a lot of people, a lot of people I've spoken to don't like the fact that what this character did to show how powered up they were. But this person, if there's a powered up MK list, this person absolutely deserves to be on the list. Sindel with Shang Tsung Souls. Now, this character is a problem. Is a certified problem. Shao Kahn strips all the souls from Shang Tsung and then transfers them to Sindel. And what Sindel goes to do, what she's able to accomplish with this power is something that I remember watching it the first time in MK9 and I could not believe what I was seeing. She approaches pretty much all of the Earthrealm warriors and by herself, she wrecks them. She completely destroys everyone and kills most of them. She kills Jax, Jade, Kitana, Sub-Zero, Smoke, Striker. The only people who survive are Johnny Cage and Sonya. Liu Kang and Raiden weren't there, and Nightwolf, dies in defeating her. She's an absolute beast of a character, and a lot of people don't like the fact that she was able to accomplish this. And I feel like Mortal Kombat did a really good job of making the villains deadly, making them dangerous in a medium where I feel like the bad guys don't really feel as threatening as they should be in a story. And Sindel with Shang's souls absolutely checks the box for being a threatening villain, which is what you need in a story. You need someone who you can really hate. Sometimes you end up cheering for the villains. Like I feel like a lot of people cheer for Shao Kahn because they just love Shao Kahn, or cheer for Shang Tsung. But Sindel, both her MK9 and her MK11 incarnations, and maybe I need to do a whole talk on her MK11 version. But Sindel as a villain is someone that it seems players genuinely hate. They want to see her lose. And that is exactly what you need in a villain in a story. So she did excellent with this. But yeah, Sindel with Shang Tsung Souls, probably one of the most powerful characters in all of Mortal Kombat. So she absolutely deserves to be on this list. The next person also needs no introduction. This next character is Mortal Kombat, and I'm sure you probably know where I'm going with this. The next powered up Mortal Kombat character is none other than the chosen one, the champion himself, Fire God Liu Kang. This man here also, much like Raiden as a god, defeats a whole army by himself. Just wrecks an entire army. He is a one-man army. He blows back a door and a whole bunch of people with a punch. The level of power Fire God Liu Kang has is just ridiculous, and it's on top of being probably the best, or at least one of the best fighters, one of the best martial artists in all of Mortal Kombat. This guy went on to beat 3 Revenants by himself. You know, 3 undead Mortal Kombat characters. He just beat them in a fight while they're trying to jump him. And he beats them. This guy went on to defeat Kronika by himself. And because both endings are canon, he did go on to beat Shang Tsung wearing Kronika's crown. I mean, Fire God Liu Kang, there's nothing else I need to say. We already know how much of a boss this character is. Initially, he had both fire and lightning abilities because Raiden gave his godhood to Liu Kang. Not only that, so just to kind of rewind a little bit, this was during MK11's time travel story. So there was 2 Liu Kangs around. There was the Revenant Liu Kang, who was the original from MK9, who died on the rooftop in MK9 and then became this undead warrior. And then it was the past Liu Kang. The Revenant Liu Kang was able to capture the younger Liu Kang and then essentially like strip him of his powers and add it to his own, and made himself more powerful. And then Raiden fuses both of them, so it's already a powered up Liu Kang. Fuses them and then passes on his godhood to Liu Kang. So it's just power on top of power on top of power when it comes to Fire God Liu Kang. So yeah, I mean, just one of the most destructive forces in all of Mortal Kombat. Fire God Liu Kang is a complete beast. Okay, the next powerful character, powered up character in Mortal Kombat is none other than one of my personal favorites, your boy Shujinko, with the powers of all fighters. Now, we only see this briefly in an ending in Mortal Kombat Deception, but the fact that Shujinko absorbed the powers of everyone, all the Mortal Kombat fighters around him. I mean, just one character with all those powers is ridiculous. And he goes on to single-handedly defeat Onaga, the Dragon King. And when you really and I'm not really one for power scaling, but if you think of it, Onaga ran through Shang Tsung, Quan Chi, and Raiden. The 3 of them jumped him and died. He killed all 3. Well, technically Raiden did, but he was able to withstand their assault. But he could not withstand this version of Shujinko. That's the level of power this Shujinko has. So Shujinko, with the powers of all the fighters, just absolutely undeniably powerful. And I really wish that we could get to see this in a story mode. We do have Shujinko at MK1, and we kind of see him in a couple of endings, but we don't really get to see in a story Shujinko really absorb a bunch of powers and then just let loose on someone.
So that I would be able to defend myself during the quest to find the Kamidogu, Onaga had given me the power to absorb the fighting ability of any warrior I encountered, but his gift would prove to be his undoing. The warriors in Outworld were in disarray. Heroes were not focused on the true threat of Onaga, and villains were unaware that they were bringing about their own destruction by serving him. I united them, and in one moment absorbed their combined fighting power. I shattered each of the Kamidogu, the source of his invulnerability. This weakened Onaga, and I attacked him without mercy. His mortal form was no match for a combatant infused with the powers of so many warriors. The Dragon King was finally defeated, The realms will remain as they have since the beginning.
One of my favorite characters in Mortal Kombat, and I really wish we get to see more of him. Okay, the next powered up character. This is something that is a little bit controversial. I think a lot of people don't like the idea of this power up. A lot of people feel like this powered up is unearned, but it is a power up, so we will include it. And this is none other than Johnny Cage and Cassie Cage with the full green halo. We got a glimpse of this in the ending of MK9, Johnny Cage's MK9 ending, where he would just uncontrollably cause explosions. And then he eventually learns how to control it, and it said that he would become powerful beyond belief.
Johnny felt strange, as if he had lost control of his body. Suddenly, powerful energy burst forth, destroying everything around him. Johnny sought the aid of Raiden and Nightwolf, but their efforts did nothing to stop these random spasms of destruction. Desperate, Raiden transported Johnny to Sado, the realm of order, where he could be taught to control his power. Johnny Cage will transform into a warrior powerful beyond mortal imagining.
Kind of coming full circle with what Raiden said in MK9. If you remember, Liu Kang was like, "What do you see in him, Raiden, Lord Raiden?" And Raiden goes, "He's a hero, Liu Kang, though he may not yet know it." Which is also something that we got to see in MK1, when Raiden, now mortal, says to Fire God Liu Kang about Johnny Cage, "What do you see in him, Lord Liu Kang?" And then he says the same line, "He's a hero, Raiden, though he may not yet know it." One of the callbacks I really enjoyed. But anyway, so he manifests this power that will make him extremely powerful, but I guess he can't really control it. And then we kind of see the payoff to that in the next game, in MKX, where he's able to defeat Shinnok. And then it turns out that his daughter Cassie can also access the full green halo. And this power up allows them to like nullify certain energy attacks, it seems like. The halo always gave them like almost like inhuman movement or speed or dexterity, I guess, because Johnny Cage does the shadow kick, and that's like, how are you skating on your foot like that? They like it grants you a temporary boost in everything, it seems like, in strength and in dexterity, I guess. They never really explain it, but that's what it seems like. And with the full halo, it seems like it's just all of those powers, but permanently in use. So being able to dodge attacks, I guess blocking attacks would be like hitting a tree or hitting a piece of metal, I guess. I don't know. And of course, all their attacks are stronger. And you can see that because when Cassie tries to fight corrupted Shinnok and she punches him, it doesn't do anything. But then when she has a full halo, she's able to actually hurt him. So at the very least, their physical strength is enhanced when they have the full halo. So much so that they're able to defeat an Elder God. Both of them laid the smackdown on Shinnok. So yeah, a lot of people don't like that Cassie Cage was able to beat Shinnok, but she had a magic power. She had a magic power up. It did come out of nowhere. I mean, they did establish that it manifests only when they are when they're trying to help someone else. When it's them, it's not their own survival on the line. They're thinking about someone else. But I think it also kind of manifests against like a godly opponent, because Shinnok is an elder god, and that's when it was able to manifest. It's almost like I can't even talk. It's almost like a failsafe against elder gods if they ever try to turn. I guess maybe Johnny Cage and his bloodline were able to keep elder gods in check. And if that is the case, this is just a theory, but if that is the case, that would explain why the full Halo did not activate in Aftermath when they were fighting Shao Kahn and Sindel, because those characters are not gods. So anyway, that's just my theory, but if my theory is right, then it kind of makes sense. Okay, the last powered up character that I have on my list. And before I go into this, I'm gonna do an honorable mention. Now, one that I didn't think of until a friend of mine mentioned this person, but MK9's Raiden. We only see it at the very, very end of MK9, but it's him endued with the powers of the Elder Gods. And I wish we got to see more of that. That would have been cool. And I wish he did more than just shoot a beam at Shao Kahn. But that is one that I didn't initially think of. That was something that Junie actually brought to my mind. But the last person, and I think this person might be the most powerful, and this person is none other than Onaga with the one Kamidogu. Not with all the Kamidogu, the one Kamidogu. This is the Kamidogu that this grants godlike power. This allows him to do anything that he wants, essentially. With the one Kamidogu, he can merge the realms and then merge everything into himself and become all consciousness. I don't know why anyone would want to do this. It feels like, what are you gonna do? Just float around in the void and, I don't know, whistle Dixie? Like, what there's no one to rule. But what Onaga can do, I mean, he can do anything with this power once you have the one Kamidogu. Anything except for perhaps travel back in time and change history the way you want it. It seems like only a Titan can do that. But barring that, Onaga with the one Kamidogu can do anything he wants.
My enemies have failed to prevent me from fusing all the weapons of the Elder Gods into one. I used this ultimate weapon to warp reality, merging the realms into a singular existence. The Elder Gods were helpless as I used their own power against them, in the void beyond the One Realm. Not satisfied with merely ruling the One Realm, I seized all that exists and merged it into myself. There can be only one consciousness. I am everything. I have become the One Being.
He can create the realms, he can destroy the realms, he can destroy the one being. He absorbed him into himself. I mean, he's just I think this is probably the most powerful character in Mortal Kombat. This power-up. The only way you can really stop this is by resetting time. I don't think anyone would be able to actually fight and defeat this character. So, Onaga with the one Kamidogu is the most powerful powered up character in Mortal Kombat. Unless you think I'm missing something. Let me know in the comments. Is there another powered up character that you think would be even more powerful than Onaga? Or maybe it's one of the characters that I already mentioned. Did I miss a feat that one of them does? Or can do, rather. Let me know in the comments. And if you want more lists like this, let me know, because I got a bunch of different I can go for days as far as Mortal Kombat lists. So let me know. But I'm gonna go ahead and call it. If you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. Time is our most valuable asset, so I really, really appreciate you spending your time on my little video. I appreciate that so much. It really does help if you hit the like button. It allows for other people who like this content to actually find it, so please do so, and I greatly appreciate that. There should be a video on screen soon. If you do like fighting game content, it's going to be one that you love, so check that out. But more than anything else, don't get beat up out there. Until next time.